Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. Thank you for joining me. I'm glad you're here. My name is Dr. Kate Boyd and I'm professor of piano at Butler University in Indianapolis. And this is my teaching studio. In the month of December, I'm practicing my way through the Beethoven Sonatas for piano and violin. And tonight, I'm looking at the 7th sonata, the final movement of it. The 7th sonata has 4 movements. And this is in C minor. It's one of only 2 sonatas out of the 10 for violin and piano that Beethoven wrote in a minor key. Here's how it goes. It's a very exciting, non-stop kind of movement, and it's very virtuosic. The first spot I want to show you is not at the very beginning of the piece. It's in measure 134. It's fugal in that we have a little thematic piece that goes like this. And that gets passed around. Then that goes to the violin. And then the right hand of the piano has it. Left hand of the piano, and then it gets passed around. That would all be well and good, except Beethoven then decided that that wasn't sufficient. He wanted to make it more exciting and put a ton of really hard eighth notes that just go crazy all throughout it. And so it makes it really hard and virtuosic. The thing I'm going to be practicing here is note security and trying to get it so that I can speed it up. I'm going to first of all do the diagnostic thing like I was talking about yesterday, being a scientist, playing it and getting a result. So I'm going to play this little section at a slow tempo just to kind of get a lay of the land. That secure and how do I make it faster, right? Those are the kind of key questions everybody wants to know. How can I play faster? How can I play more secure? And so I want to talk a little bit about how to practice something and speed it up. The thing to realize is you only have so much mental bandwidth, and the purpose of practicing something and getting it really solid is so that you can consolidate it and kind of get it on autopilot to an extent, so you don't have to use all of your mental energy just to play the notes. I'm going to just take small sections and take it apart and drill it a little bit. So I'm going to start with the beginning of it, and I'm going to do right hand alone. Do that a couple times. And we'll put that with the left hand. Now, I know the left hand, it goes like this. So I did right hand pretty fast. Left hand pretty, fast. And now I'm going to slow it down and put hands together. Metronome to do that. I'm just skipping the metronome, but I could. I often use the metronome. Every day I use the metronome. One more time, a little faster. All right, that's the first little bit of it. Now, this little part in the left hand, the next part, I'll play the left hand alone. left hand alone. until that's fairly comfortable. If you're anything like me, your left hand doesn't feel quite as secure as the right hand on passage work. That's fairly common, not just only if you're right-handed, but often people are less secure in their left hand. Right hand goes. That's not too hard. Now I will put it hands together slowly. Now. The violin has it here, the melody, so I have to be careful not to get too loud either. So. Okay, a little faster. My piano's really loud. This is actually a 9-foot piano. This is a concert instrument in my studio, so it's pretty loud in here. Now I'm going to play both of those together. I'm going to do 8 bars. So. That felt pretty good. That felt okay. I wouldn't want to play it on a stage yet, but it definitely felt better than when I started today. I'm going to do that again. Try it faster now. Ah. Whew. Okay, I'll try it at least that tempo again. I'm also practicing just the page turn, right? That's an awkward little page turn. Now, if I were to make a mistake in the middle of that, then I would find the spot and re-isolate that. The next step for me would be to do the next 4 or 6 bars, really. Hands separate again. I'm not going to practice that whole passage because you're here with me and I think you got the idea. What I did, this is the takeaway. I did the right hand alone and I got that comfortable and I got it fast so that it was really secure and fast on its own. Then I did the left hand alone, the same thing. And I really started with whichever hand was the hardest. Also, I broke it up into small, manageable units. Then after each hand was comfortable, I slowed it back down and I put it together at a tempo that felt manageable, and then I sped it up. What I would recommend to you is use your metronome and find a nice slow tempo when you put it hands together and just move it up notch by notch. You will find that it gets to be feeling more secure. The next thing I want to talk to you about is fear. Yes, that's right, fear. Have you ever felt kind of scared when you had a really hard thing coming up, or when you had a really hard piece, or if something was really fast? I think that's really common. And I have to confess that this movement kind of scares me. I'm a little embarrassed to admit that out loud, but this is day 7 of our project. And so I feel like we know each other a little bit by now, enough that I can kind of admit that to you. But the reason that this movement scares me is because from measure 29 all the way to measure 88, it's just straight, very fast eighth notes. And so what that means is I have to lock in and just be totally secure and know that I can go all the way through that whole thing and have it be rock solid. Now, the goal is to not feel scared, right? The goal is to get to a point where it doesn't feel scary at all. But the trick is not to just not feel scared, right? Or just be brave. The trick is to practice it so that I feel prepared. That's the purpose that fear can serve. It can point a direction. It can point out the places that don't feel as secure. So that's how to reduce fear: prepare and practice. And so the practice technique that I'm going to talk about now is finding the individual spots that are hard between measure 29 and 88, and I'm going to drill them. So the first one is right at measure 29, and here's how it goes. We're going to do the diagnostic. We're going to play it once and see where we're at with it. All right, that's the first spot. Now I'm going to drill that. So for me, what drilling means is I'm going to play it several times in a row. I'm going to play it 6 times total. I just played it the first time. And I want to just get to a point where it feels like it's in my fingers. Speed that up a little bit. Next one. Is to kind of not play it exactly rhythmically, which might sound like a scandal, but actually what you want to do is group, finish a little bit early. So I talked about this in my octaves video. I think one of my octave videos is the idea of finishing a gesture early, so that then you have a little bit of extra time to do the jump. I'm going to move on to the next spot, and that is measure 52. It goes like this. All right, here we're going to drill it a few times. So I'm repeating, and each time I'm kind of assessing and I'm thinking about trying to prepare. Okay, and again. This is what scares me. That's just, like, I can play it, but it's just in the middle of all that other stuff. All right, so that's another spot, and another spot is this. Right there. Right, here's what drilling looks like. Not super glamorous. Drill. You can decide to vary the articulation. You could, I'm going to maybe play it super legato. You could play it pianissimo. Play it really loud. I could play it slow. The idea is to refresh my approach to the keyboard so it stays fresh. I have marked the hard spots, and so I'm not wasting a lot of my practice time just going. I already know that part. I know that part. I don't need to spend a lot of time going over and over and over it. So my takeaway here is, if you have a difficult spot, identify exactly where the difficult part is, and then isolate that and drill that. then put it back into context and see if it has improved. And I'm sure it will if you drill it carefully and really pay attention to how you're moving into place and what exactly the technical challenges are. The third thing I want to talk to you about is this idea of phrasing and direction and musical line. Because, you know, I talk a lot about technique. People always have questions about technique, and technique is easy to talk about. But it's also important to remember that we're playing music here. It's not just a matter of pushing down levers on the keyboard. And so in something that's exciting like this, we need to always have a feeling of drive. We want to always be phrasing in a very active way. So I'm going to show you a couple spots and you'll see what I mean. In measure 39, this is how it goes. All right, now it would be very easy to play it fairly static. It would be very easy to just go. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just not all the notes kind of equal. But what we need to do is look at the place in the phrase where the music is leading to. That's how you figure out how to phrase. Every phrase should have basically one note that's the destination note. So here I'm playing along, and this is I'm going to the turn, and then coming back to the resolution. And again on this one, and this goes to there, and go to there, there, and now this goes to there, and then coming down. So everything you play, it has direction. I'm going to show you another example, and that is measure 282, which is also the presto. So it goes like this. I'm playing it slowly just to hear it. It's very easy for something like this to sound like every downbeat's accented, right? It sounds... to sound like every bar is exactly the same. So I'm going to think of this in groups of 4 at the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Then the next part goes in larger units as well. We start here and we build to there, then drop and build. When you're phrasing, go to a strong beat, go to the downbeat. When I mean go, I mean grow to it a little bit, and then drop dynamically, get quieter, and build to the next downbeat, or even 2 measures later. Find the place in the phrase that is the note that is the destination note. If you find the destination note, then you can shape to it. Now, I promised at the end of every video I give you a little update on my day. Today is Wednesday, December 7th, and last night all my students performed in a recital, and it was just wonderful. I'm so proud of them. They did so great, and I think most of them were happy and satisfied with their performances. I'm actually going to put a picture that I took last night after the concert up here so you can see everybody and all the big smiles. Now, if you want to see more about my technical approach to the piano, I'm going to put a playlist that I made of videos that show the top 5 technical things I work on with my college and graduate students, and I'm going to put that right up there. So go ahead and click on that, and that'll take you to all those tutorials, and you'll learn a lot more about my technical approach to the piano. Thank you so much for practicing with me tonight, and I will see you tomorrow. Happy practicing!